Prof JC here. I want to, this video, okay, I'll start by saying this. This video is for 3 different classes. I want you to hear me, okay? It's for 6049. If you're in that class, it's for 6048I. I think I said 60481 last week. I meant 6048I for integrity and 6048P for purpose. 3 different classes, okay? This is our last video that we're going to do a combined video. If you are in 2 of these different classes, please use the same answer, just copy and paste it and put it in the other class. That's simple, not hard, okay? So make sure that we do that, okay? 6409, 6048I, 6048P. If you're in 2 of those, copy and paste. Simple, simple, simple. Today I want to talk about what I believe is the foundation of leadership. It's the reason why I'm giving my life to this. It's the reason why I care deeply about this. I care deeply about this because there are so many poor leaders out there in the world. It's just the nature of it, because humans are humans, okay? And humans are filled with mixed emotions and journeys and all these kind of things that we bring to the table. Because of that, there are a lot of leaders out there that struggle being a great leader. So I want to talk about 3 things that are, I think, important before we start diving into our books and our separate classes and all that we're going to talk about. This is the foundation for my class 6049. We're going to meet here in a couple weeks. This is the last video that you'll have this entire semester, but I think this is important because when we meet here in a couple weeks, we're going to start talking about this, okay? But we need to understand this. I know that there's some of you in these courses that are just at Point Loma because you're trying to get a business degree. You want to get that degree on the wall and get back to work. Nothing wrong with that, okay? Our motivations differ, but your motivation is not wrong. But there are other people who are signing up because they want to actually learn and they want to spend time in these classes and they're trying to figure it out. That's great too, right? We're all here. That's what matters, is we're all here. I have a real sense of responsibility in these classes, especially the 1-unit classes, right? They can be a little bit like a mosquito in your ear. I have a real sense of responsibility to these because I understand that there are so many poor leaders that are out there in the marketplace. So many. And it's I say this all the time. It's why I will work till I'm 85 and I will always have business in front of me, because we have leaders that are always struggling because human nature is human nature. So, foundation of leadership. These 3 things, and I really believe if you don't have these 3 things, you will wrestle in leadership. Now, I'm not giving you any data today. I'm not taking anything from books. I'm going to speak to you from my heart today and from what I've experienced, what I've seen out there in the marketplace, my own experiences. I've been working since I was I was 12 years old when I first had a job. I know that was completely illegal, but it was one of my dad's friends. He ran a nonprofit, and he helped pay for me to go to Christian camp every summer. And it was an expensive camp. And so what I did was I would go to that nonprofit where he worked. It was called the Rescue Mission back in my hometown. And he ran the rescue mission. So I would go and I'd work. His son and I would work. We were best buds, and we'd work all summer. I'd work 8 to 5 every single day. I did that 12, 13, 14. When I turned 50 and I was able to start working, and I got a job at the local grocery store, and I've been working ever since. So I'm 44 now. So you do the math there. What is that? Almost 30 years in the workplace that I've been working hard and have never taken a year off, never taken a day off. I didn't take any gap years or anything like that. I've had to work my entire life. So these are just some observations from my own study and from my own experience about what it takes. The foundation of any great leader. And number 1 is this: the foundation for leadership is humility. Now, here's the thing. When we hear that word humility, often what most people think of, they think of a weak person, right? They think of someone who is meek and someone who's mild and someone who is soft personality, and not there's anything wrong with that. Okay. But I know sometimes there's a resistance to that because you're leaders, right? You're business people. You are signing up for the MBA. You're signing up for the Masters of Leadership. You know, you're ready to take on the world. So that word humility, really, it's like, well, I don't want to do that. I'm trying to be a hard charger. You can be a hard charger. And I would say you're an even better heart charger if you're humble, if your life is marked with humility. Now, here's what humility means. Okay, so here's the definition I'm talking about. Humility is not thinking less of yourself. Okay, so it's not that I'm weak and I'm poor and woe is me and I'm not good and no, that's not it at all. It's not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking about yourself less. And here's what I know. Okay. Some of the greatest leaders that I know are all humble. And here's what I don't mean. I don't mean that they all have soft personalities. None of them do. Matter of fact, the three I'm thinking about right now in my mind are very tough people to work for. They're very demanding in how they want things done. They're very demanding in what they've done, but all three have been very successful in terms of building the organizations that they've built. But why do they do that? Because they're able to always and only be thinking about the mission. They're always thinking about, the people that they're trying to serve. They're thinking about their clients. They're thinking about their customers. They're thinking about their congregational members. They're thinking about the community that they're trying to make better, that they're trying to empower. Okay. And so they're never, ever thinking about themselves. They're always thinking about other people. Again, and the three I'm thinking about right now are not, and I could list another one, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm thinking of great leaders that I know, people who've done great things in this world. Every single one of them are humble in the fact that they're not thinking about themselves. It is about the mission. Okay. It's about other people focused. Now, again, sometimes working for these people can be pretty tough. Why? Because they're so mission focused. Sometimes they miss out on the people around them. But they're all very effective in what they do because they are so focused on, they're not trying to make their dad proud. They're not trying to make their mom proud. They're not trying to, they're not trying to get a ton of money in the bank account so they can impress anyone. That's not what they're driven for at all. They're driven by the thing that they're doing, whatever that thing is. And the 6, 7, or 8 people I'm thinking that ranges from military to business to, I'm thinking about another person right now, ranges from military to business to nonprofit to church leaders. These are all people who are highly driven, very hard workers, workaholics, some of them, but they're humble in the fact that it's not about themselves. It's not an ego drive to make themselves better. This is going to be key in terms of your own success. If you're out there driven in the marketplace because of your own lack of ego, because you didn't get enough hugs from dad, you didn't get enough hugs from mom, you're still trying to prove that teacher wrong, still trying to prove your friends wrong, whatever it is. And I'm not saying that that's why you're out there, but if that's your reason, I promise you, you will fail in leadership. At some point, it will catch up to you. Okay. And you'll be the one that you might even go for 20, 25 years, but it will catch up to you. And until you're able to switch that to a humble mindset, it's not going to work out for you. That's number one. Number two is this. Now, this one gets a little controversial when I bring this up, but it's true. Love. Okay. The foundation of leadership is love. And I'm not talking about some soft heart love and emotions and, oh, I like this person and, oh, they like me and all that. That's not what I'm talking about at all. Okay. Here is the definition of love. And it's based on the words of Saint Augustine. Love is seeking the highest good for other people. Love is seeking the highest good for others. Okay. Now that's deep. It goes all the way back to that idea of humility, right? Love is not thinking about myself. Love is, so there's 2 different kinds of love out there. Or actually there's 3, and I can't name them all. I've actually talked about this before, but my mind is skipping a blank here. But what I would say is this: there are 2 different kinds. One is called an eros kind of a love, right? It's where you get the word erotica from, right? It's very, it's all about the emotions. Now, but here's the deal with eros love. That's all about me. It's me focused. So any relationship I get into, I'm getting that relationship because of what it does for me. Any organization I come to, right? I'm coming into that organization about what it can do for me. If there's any kind of a friendship I make that friendship because of what it can do for me. It's me centered. Okay. So maybe that's what we'll talk about is there's 2 different kinds of love. There's other centered love. And then there's me-centered love, and then there's other-centered love, okay? So that me-centered, that eros love, it's 100% about me. And when that person or that thing or that job or whatever, it doesn't fulfill me anymore, it doesn't make me happy anymore, I'm quick to walk away. And we see this in relationships all the time. Some of you have been a victim of that. You've been with somebody who's an Eros kind of person. And so they come into your life, and then when they've done, they've taken everything that they can take, they walk out because now they're on to something new, and they're going to do the same thing to that next person. Some of you have done that to other people, right? You've been the victim of it, or you've done it to other people, maybe both, right? That's that Eros formula. That's not what I'm talking about. That's the kind of love that uses, okay? And I'll tell you this, I've done this before. I've had to do work in my own life to get past that and to say that, hey, this world is not here for my pleasure. It's not here for me to take advantage of. I'm here to serve the world. That was about a decades-long journey of moving from that person that was very self-focused on me. Everything had to do about me. I lost job after job after job because my life was focused on me. And I'd come into every organization and every job, and it was about me. And then I was able to flip that up, thank goodness. Okay, was able to switch that up and realize, no, I'm here to serve the marketplace, and so are you. That's what this love is, okay? So love is seeking the highest good for the other. That's the definition of what love is, which means as a leader, you come into any workplace and you're thinking about the highest good for your client, for your stakeholders, for your shareholders, for anybody that you're serving. You're thinking about their highest good, okay? So again, we've got two different things we've talked about here that it's still not about you, right? And so again, some of you here, you might be in this for the wrong reasons. You're in here because you're trying to make a lot of money, trying to have a nice car, nice house. Now, that's not, I'm making some assumptions here. I also know that Point Loma has a lot of very thoughtful, brave, courageous, wonderful students who are here to make an impact on the world. And I want that to be you. Okay. So again, you've got those two. Now, the third one is simply this: empowerment. Okay. We started with humility. We moved to love. We moved to empowerment. And what is empowerment at its simplest form? Empowerment is giving power away. It's the power that you've been given. Okay. Now it doesn't mean that you give, as a leader, you don't give responsibility away. You've got to still take responsibility, but it means that you take the power that you've been given and you give it away. Okay. And you give it to somebody else and you say, hey, on this project here, I'm going to empower you. And that means that you're in charge of your team. You're in charge of your budget. And maybe you have to say, I can only give you $1 million or whatever. I can only give you $50,000 for this project, or I can only give you 10,000, whatever it is. But you're in charge of how it gets done. Here's the outcome. Okay. As leaders, we never give that up, right? As leaders, we always have to be there with our purpose, the vision, the mission. We've got to be able to lead that well. Okay. And that's a whole nother. And as we get into the purpose videos, I'll explain that more to those of you who are in the purpose class, but we've got to make sure our mindsets are always on the vision, always on the purpose, always on the mission. We help do that. But within that, what we do is we give power away, and we say, hey, so here's where you need to get to. Here's what the vision is, but you're going to decide how you do that. And I'm going to give you full power. I'm going to give you full authority, to make this happen. I'm still, as the boss, as the leader, I'm still going to be responsible though. So if you fail, that means I fail. Okay. That means I got to go up and I got to answer to my leaders about why this didn't work out. Okay. And that means that I failed in some ways, but we're not going to let that happen. Okay. Right. Because we're going to be in constant communication, and I'm not going to micromanage you, but it's important that we've got steps and we understand, but I trust you and I empower you. I'm giving you this power away. Okay. So that you can lead. I have found time and time again, and I have stories upon stories, and I don't have time to go into all these stories, but I have stories upon stories of times when I've given power away, and the outcome was 10 times better than what I could have done. I'll never forget the first time that I ever empowered someone. I won't go into the story, but I didn't want to empower. It was two different people. They asked for empowerment on this situation. And up to that point, I had been very controlling in my own leadership journey. But I learned about this term empowerment, and I tried it, and I said, okay. And I actually had some people had to hold me back and say, okay, hey, let them do this. Let them be in charge. And if it doesn't work, the next time we know, and we'll make it, and this was a big project we had to work on. It was a big deal. And I gave up total power to them. But I would have to still be responsible if it didn't work out. But I gave them total power. They had a budget, and I said, you do whatever you need to do. I'm not even going to ask you any questions about it. You make it. At the end, when the project was finished, their project, and I tell you, it gives me chills thinking about it. It was 10 times better than anything that I could have done, anything that I could have perceived, because I gave it over to them. Right now, again, all this, that starts with, you got to have the right people, and they were the right people for that job. But it blew my mind, and it showed me right there in that lesson. It showed me right then and there that if you give power away, people will appreciate it so much that they'll work even harder because you've now trusted them. Okay. So again, we've got the three things here. I think if you get these three things just as the foundation, now there's a lot of things we have to talk about and nuances around leadership and business. Again, business is doing, leadership is helping other people do more effectively. So there's a lot we have to learn with all of this, but the foundation for leadership has to be these things. You get these three things right, and I promise you, you will email me in 5 to 10 years, and you will tell me about all the great promotions you've had, and you will tell me about the people's lives that have been impacted by you because you've understood the importance of these three things right here. So here's what I want you to do for the questions today on this video. I want you to tell me the three foundational pieces for leadership, and go back and share what number one is and tell me the definition. Okay. And then here's what I want you to do. I want you to tell me one area that you need to grow in that area. Okay. So you go to number one, you say, here's what number one is. Here's number one. And here's the definition. Here's an area I need to grow in this field. Here's the second one that Prof JC, told me. And here's what it is. Here's the definition. And I need to grow. Here's how I need to grow in this area. And then here's number three. Here's the definition. And here's how I need to grow. And the reason why I want to focus on that versus your strengths is, your strengths, probably, I'm guessing. Where you're really good at. What I think we struggle with as leaders often is we're not exactly sure about our weaknesses. And we don't necessarily want to dive in deep on those and get better at those weaknesses. But that's really important as leaders, that we become reflective and we learn what we can do better. So I look forward to your responses. Next week, we will be but next week we will have separate videos for all the classes. So we won't be combining classes like this. BUS6049. We will not have any more videos going forward. We'll meet in person here in a couple of weeks, but the other two classes, you'll start having your own videos. And so hopefully that'll be a little bit less confusing for some of you who have two different. But if you're in the same class, or if you're in both classes, and there's copy and paste one of them, just put it in the other. Not a problem. Okay. Thanks so much for listening today, everybody. I look forward to reading your responses. Have a great rest of your week. Take care.